Good morning. Warriors for Christ, Spirit Warrior here. I'm not going to take a lot of your time today, but I'm just going to get something out there that I feel like I need to get out there. I just heard about this woman named R.A. Stavis, or R.H. Stavis in L.A., who claims she's an exorcist and she doesn't need Christ to do it. That's a lie from the pit of hell. I can tell you that any exorcist that ever attempted to actually throw out a real demon out of a house, a person, anywhere, got a beating if you don't call on Christ. I want you to know that right now. I've been there. I've seen it. You call on Christ first. You don't pray to angels. You don't pray to Mother Mary. You don't pray to anybody but Jesus Christ to protect you and help you and do the casting out, because I and no other exorcist have the power to cast out demons. Jesus has to cast out demons. All you're doing is, if you're playing like you're casting out demons without Jesus, is you're just adding them to your house. Trust me, that's the truth. Listen, here is something I want to tell everybody about right now in America, okay? As an exorcist, my number one job is to discern evil, discern lies, to separate the truth from the lies. And I have a problem right now with our country, not because of any political affiliation, because I have none. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not an independent. I'm an exorcist. I'm an E. And I'm going to tell you why. In one of the books thrown out of the Bible, Thomas, Jesus says to Thomas, no one can go to heaven until he sees this world as a corpse. You know, I thought at first when I heard that it was kind of off the wall. You know, would Jesus really say that? And then I thought about it. I prayed about it. And you know what? Look at the world. What survives this world? Nothing. Nothing survives this world. Every living thing on this planet dies. It is a corpse. Jesus was exactly right. Is exactly right. So, for years, I have known about the satanic political people. And I'm going to tell you how I knew about them so many years ago. In my counseling as a Christian counselor, and I at the time was doing exorcism already, a woman came to me and she said, I am a detective in the LAPD. I have been assigned to the McMartin case. Does everyone remember the McMartin case? The preschool in Long Beach with the tunnels under it where they were dragging the kids off to satanic rituals. Now, the news media jumped on that with the blankets and the smoke screens like wild animals. But this woman came to me, and she was who she said she was. And she told me she was having nightmares and horrific headaches. And she didn't know what to do. And when I asked her to tell me more about it, what was there a team of detectives, because my family was in law enforcement, what was going on with everybody? She says, yes, there's about 20 people on this case. And when we have meetings, all we can do is argue. We can't get anywhere. There's always somebody breaking up the continuity of anything. And she said, after our third or fourth meeting, we started having nosebleeds and headaches and horrible nightmares. Everybody in that group did. Am I crazy, she says. No, you're not crazy, ma'am. You are being attacked by demons. Now, mind you, me and about 4 other people were about the only Christian counselors in Southern California. We had people come from out of state to see us. And I saw people that had to deal with the demonic. So I prayed for this woman, and she told me that she couldn't believe the resistance she was getting from the higher-ups. Couldn't believe how the news media was covering it up. And I told her that she needed to be in prayer every day. I would pray for her, would get her out of this thing, and if she could, she probably should get off the task force. When I saw her a couple of 3 more times, she said she was doing much better. The nightmares had gone away, the nosebleeds, the headaches, things were returning to normal. And she was from Los Angeles, and I was down by San Clemente, which is quite a drive for her to make to see me. So it was then that I started paying attention to satanic and the politics, and that's been a long time ago. So I'm going to make a point now strictly from the spiritual realm, not to do with political affiliation, as I said before. And I supported Trump. I voted for Trump. I sent money to Trump. Trump supporter. Now, I have a problem. Now, I have an issue. We were promised there'd be a border wall, and Mexico would pay for it. There's no border wall. There's not 1 foot of border wall. We were promised the swamp would be drained. All I see is the same Democratic leaders in office or out of office, marching around Washington, having offices in Washington, D.C., like cock roosters, defying everyone. And the only people who have been thrown out of office are low-level lackeys, other than James Comey, and now Jeff Sessions, which I got to tell you, I just am not having any faith in it anymore. So the swamp doesn't look like it's getting drained to me. And I have another question. We knew they were going to commit fraud in this election. Yet, somehow, they got tens of thousands of blank ballots to fill out themselves and use them. Unabated. The same crony woman in Broward County, Florida, that was convicted of voter fraud in 2016 ran the election in Broward County again. White House, what happened? What happened? There's no border wall. What happened? The same Democratic leaders that were in office are now out of office, marching around Washington, putting their finger in your face. White House, what happened? You let tens of thousands of blank ballots be filled out by Democrats and stuffed into ballot boxes to swing Senate seats and House seats. An ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure. 15-year-olds know that, Mr. President. Now, we get to play like, oh, we'd like to get them out of office and get them, they don't belong, but, oh, it's going to take so long and the Democrats are fighting us and they're going to be sitting there voting. They found 2 boxes of provisional ballots in the trunk of a rental car in Broward County, Florida. The rental car was returned by someone working the election down there from the Democratic Party. They were Republican provisional ballots that they took with them to dispose of and forgot and left in the trunk of the car. Did you hear a word of that? The Broward County Sheriff is investigating it. Have you heard a word of it? What happened, White House? They're putting up 5G everywhere at a horrendous cost because it doesn't travel very far. They have to put it up like every 500 feet, the antennas. Study after study overseas has proven that 5G alters the water molecules and therefore our very cells, damaging them. What happened, White House? You see, I've heard a lot of promises, and basically, other than claiming that this economy is great, which it's not, other than that, I've seen nothing. The soldiers sent to the border are unarmed. They're CBs. They were sent to put up some concertina wire for a few miles and some barricades, some K-barrier for a few miles. Why? What's that going to do? They're now climbing over the fence in Tijuana starting yesterday. The CBs are over in Texas and they're doing nothing. They don't even have a gun. Why? To appease the Trump faithful. To appease the voters for Trump. Well, take it from this exorcist, okay? A lie is a lie is a lie. Either you do what you said or you're lying. 50,000 indictments? I don't believe it. And I can also tell you that indictment doesn't mean arrest. It doesn't mean arrest. All I'm hearing is saber rattling. All I'm seeing is low-level pickpockets go to jail out of this thing. As usual, the ringleaders in corruption never go to jail when it's regarding politics. They send a bunch of lackeys to jail around them to make it look like they did something. We're being lied to. We're being lied to. If we have this wonderful president who is going to be our salvation, why are we still being sprayed with chemtrails? Why? Why are they putting up 5G networks that we know are going to kill us? Why do the FEMA camps still exist? Why isn't an armed army at the border? Have all the evidence in the world of Obama and Hillary and many others selling uranium to the Russians. Treason. But oh, we got to get it just right. They're slippery. Really? Really? You know what? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the stories. The news media is nothing but lies. They are on the payroll of the cabal, deep state, shadow government, whatever you want to call it. The satanic ruling elite is what I call it. They're not elite. They're Satan's little minions. And if Christians would get on their knees and believe that God, our Father, and Jesus have the power to straighten this out and ask Him to do it en masse, He would do it. So I'm calling on everybody that's sick and tired of being lied to from both sides to do that. I want you to have a laser-focused prayer. Okay? Because when in an exorcism, the exorcist doesn't pray about, oh, it'd sure be nice if you'd leave, or you know, there was light in this room and Sam here got better. I'm sorry, you have a very skewed idea of what an exorcism's like if you think that's what's going on. Let me tell you what's going on in an exorcism. You're being frozen. You're being burned. You're being blown up against walls. You're having things thrown at you. You're being pushed. What picture do you people have of the spiritual realm? You know, the Satanists, the Luciferians, they get it. They know they get help from these demons through Satan if they worship him and ask him. You need laser-targeted prayer. And rosaries and Hail Marys and praying to Michael and praying to Mary and praying to saints and all that stuff. That's all garbage put forth by Satan through the Catholic Church. I'm sorry if you're a Catholic and I've offended you by saying that, but I think you have to grow up about the Catholic Church. Look at the pedophiles. What is pedophilia connected to? Satanic abuse. So, today, I've had it. I'm done with trying to point out to people things. There's some people out here doing some marvelous work. Joe from Fullerton. This guy just did a thing on 5G that is dead on. And he had people that are scientists and people that have worked in it answering in his comments going, dude, you're dead on. That's what it does. It's going to kill us. And Joe, although you might think, oh, Joe from Fullerton is a UCI, which is a 4.0 plus school to get into, graduate with degrees in the fields he's talking about. There's a lot of guys out there doing great work. Richie from Boston, Douglas Ducote. I know I'm going to miss some people, but there's Dave at X22 Report. Think about it. Steve's all over it. I want you to know something about me. I was thrown off of YouTube in 2005. Okay? Because what I put in a video on YouTube was so true, it garnered me a visit from the Pentagon and a hell of a threat. Listen. It's all real. Right around you. Put your hands around you. It's another world. See, the scientists are right about one thing. Even the spiritists and mediums are right about one thing. It's about dimensions. It's about vibrational levels. And from time to time, the two cross. And because Satan hates man with a passion, he hates human beings with a passion, he's working to destroy us. He gives favors and power and money to those who will help him. And I want to tell everyone watching something you may not know. Why does Satan and his demons hate mankind so bad? 2 words. Free will. They were servants of God their entire existence. And they didn't have free will. God gave us free will, and it infuriated Satan. His name's actually Gadriel. And he and Simjaze and some others rebelled. They thought they could take on God. And they got cast to earth. And the rest, as they say, is history. Listen. I know I'm irritated. I admit it. I'm really upset. You have no idea what it's like to be the guy standing on the bow of the Titanic going, it's sinking, while the concerto plays on and people playing cards in the Great Hall and act like nothing's going wrong. There's a lot of us on YouTube going, hey, there's a hole in the boat, it's going down. But unlike a lot of people on YouTube, even though I do know the information because of my grandfather, part of it, he was in naval intelligence. I don't get it from the world around me. I get it from the heavenly realms. And you know, I want to tell you something. If there's two things in this world that I have great distrust of and disdain for, it's people that are involved in Luciferian worship, and it's prophets. False prophets. Let me tell you about prophecy. It used to be that you were a prophet and you made a prophecy and it didn't come true. They killed you. Now, these prophets can splark all over YouTube, and then they come back and they go, well, after it doesn't happen like they say, well, let me explain what people don't know about what God really meant. Wait a minute. No. You said God said this. Now it needs interpretation? You know who I'm talking to, brother. I don't think you're a bad guy. I think you need to look hard at what you're doing and what you're saying. And I'm not going to call you out. But I'm going to tell you right now. Don't let me decide it's on purpose. Don't. You don't want that. I have a job to do. In 2 Timothy 4:2, God tells us to discharge all the duties of our ministry. Brother, my ministry is deliverance. And I don't care if you're a demon or a liar. You're in my ministry. Because I will discharge the duties of deliverance on behalf of those being lied to. I don't have the power to do anything to you. But as long as you're going along and nobody's complaining about you to our Father, I'll bet you can slide. But when somebody starts complaining, he's going to hear. And when 50 people start complaining and 100 people and 1,000 people start complaining, he's going to hear. He's going to hear loudly. If you're making dollars off of our Father's children, woe be unto your soul. Woe be unto your soul. I'm going to stop this video before it gets too long. I'm done buying the stories. When I see what was promised happen, I'll believe it. Until then, I'm not believing any more of it. And you shouldn't either. Look, either we're going to get in the streets and we're going to demand that this stuff is stopped, that the border's taken care of, or we're going to be destroyed. It's that simple. Lord God Almighty, Heavenly Jesus, I come against the enemy, all his minions, and the evil people that he has enlisted to help him around the world today, in your holy name. I pray that if you can't bring about their salvation, you bring about their destruction. As always, Jesus, it's up to you, not me. I am but a humble servant. God bless all of you. Pray. Pray directed prayers like the one I just prayed. Pray for Jesus and to take care of those who are evil, lying to us, and mean us harm. God bless